Hello everyone, this is Gautami. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Gautami Tech Skills. In this Python series, today we are going to learn a new concept called assigning values to variables. Let's begin. There are different ways to assign a values to variables. The first method here is for assigning a value into the variable basic form. Let's have an example. X is equal to 10. Storing a 10 into a variable is known as a basic format. And coming to the next method is a tuple assignment. In order to store a multiple values like something like a 15, a Sai, a 25,000 like this, under one variable, we are using a tuple representation, that is a rounded brackets, and store it in one variable. This is called a tuple assignment. And a list assignment, storing a multiple values under one variable using list representation is known as a list assignment. Sequence assignment. Any sequence of names can be assigned to any sequence of values, and Python assigns the items one at a time by positions. That means, for example, if I'm having three values, let us assume like this: 11, 15, and 25. So I want to assign the values at a time for these three. So how many values we have here? Three values. So create three variables on the left side and give the symbol as equal to operator. Now A is going to store 11, B is going to store a 15, C is going to store a 25. This kind of representation, we will call it as a sequence assignment. And extended assignment. Usually, we have to give how many variables we assign, that many values you should give. For suppose if I have given x comma y is equal to 25, 30 and 70. Here you have created only two variables and the values are 3. This is not recommended. It throws an output as an error. So to overcome this, you need to use a concept called extended sequence assignment, which means you are willing to give two values for one variable, any one variable. That means if I want to store one value for x and the rest two values for y, then how to represent this one is you have to use a symbol called star symbol and write a y variable. So instead of writing this one, you have to use it this way: x comma star y is equal to 25 comma 30 comma 70, so that x is going to be stored at 25 and y is going to be stored these two values, that is 30 and 70. This is what extended sequence assignment. Let's come to the multiple target assignment. That means if I want to store a similar value for multiple variables, let us assume like this: I want to store 10 for three variables. Usually what we will do like this: A is equal to 10, B is equal to 10, C is equal to 10. We will do like this. Instead of writing this way, what we will do here is write everything in a single line just by assigning the equal to operator and assign a 10 to this, so that A is holding value 10, B is also holding the value 10, C is also holding the value 10. This way of representation we will call it as multiple target assignment. Let's discuss one more method called augmented assignment. What is meant by augmented assignment? It is a shorthand assignment that combines an expression and an assignment. That means, for suppose if I'm having a variable called x is equal to 20 and I want to add a 2 to my variable. 2 to my variable. That means I want to add 2 to the x and assign same result to that variable. That means what I will do, x is equal to x plus 2. That means adding 2 to the x and assigning the result to the same variable. Instead of writing in this way, we will make use of a shorthand method called x plus equal to 2, which means it's a shorthand method, add and assign operator. This kind of representation we call it as augmented assignment. We'll discuss in practical. The first form here is a basic form. So we already used that x is equal to 10. If you print x variable, we are going to see the output as 10. This is a basic format. Still now we are learning this format. And second format that we are going to learn here is tuple. If you want to store multiple values under one variable, we can make use of the tuple representation. Let us have an values like this. Kiran, 45, money, then Harish. And I want to store all these values under one variable. So create one variable like details is equal to. Tuple is represented either with rounded brackets or without rounded brackets. Here I am not using any brackets, only the values are separated with comma, although it is a tuple only. Let's try to print that variable details and check the data type also using the function called type function and give the variable where you have stored multiple values. Let's run. You can see it's a tuple. This is one kind of representing the values under one variable. Let's discuss one more method called storing multiple values under one variable using the list concept. Let's discuss one more thing. A record variable is equal to now storing multiple values using the list representation. So use a square brackets and give the values of same or different data types. So I'm just giving different data types as I like. So now I just want to print these values that are stored in the variable called record and I need to check the data type also. So use a method called type function and give the variable name as record and run this. Now see, this is a list representation. Now, here, when I am accessing means here, all multiple values I am storing in under one variable. I want to assign each and every value to different variables. Then what can I do here is, you can provide the multiple variables to in order to assign a single value to those variables. Let's have like this. I'll just copy these code and I'm pasting it here. So instead of storing all these values under one variable, what I'm going to do here is just to separate with the comma and give the values as details 1, details 2 and details 3. So now what I did here, how many values I have here? That many variables I created using the concept tuple concept only. If I'm not using any kind of parenthesis, which means it's a tuple only. Now, if I try to print each and every variable, it is going to make use of the sequence like a order. So, what is the what value stored in the first position for this details? That value will take. For details 1, it will take the second value. For details 2, it will take the third value. For details 3, it will take the third value. So, instead of storing multiple values under one variable, we can provide multiple variables for each and every value using the tuple concept. So, that type we'll call it as a tuple assignment. So now try to print all the variables one by one. So now what I will do, I'm going to check it as a details 1 and later I'm going to check with the details 2 and later I'm going to check with the details 3. Let's try to run this cell and you can see the individual values that are stored in those variables. This is a tuple assignment. Same way, instead of storing a multiple values under one variable, here also you can provide a multiple variables for each and every value. Here I have how many values? 4 values. Must and should have 4 variables. Then only it will give a result. Otherwise, it will throws an error. So now try to give the variable names accordingly. It will give the result for those variables. Just change the variable names what you have given there. So print record 1, record 2, record 3 and record 4. So it is going to make use of the sequential only. So record 1 will store Tarun, record 2 will store Kiran, record 3 will store 34, record 4 will store 89.90. So just run this. So individual values can also be given for each and every variable using the list concept. This is what list assignment. Here, I said that how many values you have, must and should give that many variables. If I try to give more variables, or if I'm giving something like extra value like this. So here I have given only the 4 variables and I have given 5 values. If I try to run, it throws an error that too many values to unpack. Actually, when you are storing under a sequence data type like list, tuple, set, those are packed. Now, whenever you are giving multiple variables to assign a single value, you are unpacking those values from the packing. Okay. So here, Tarun will be stored in record 1. Kiran will store in record 2. 34 will store in record 3. 89.90 will store in record 4. Then what about this value? So there is an extra value which cannot be unpacked from this packing. So too many values to unpack, expected 4. They are expected, you have expected only 4, but you are still one more is there. So, but what you are thinking here, you are thinking that you need to assign 2 values for one variable, any of the one variable. Then you have to make use of a concept called extended assignment. It is going to be represented using a symbol called star symbol. So I'll simply copy this code and I'll paste it here. Now my meaning here is I want to give last 2 values for this record 4. And single value should be given for record 1, record 2 and record 3. Now to specify that, prefix that variable with star. Now try to run, you can see now you are not getting the error. Because you use the extra assignment that this variable is prefixed with star symbol. That means last 2 values is going to be assigned only for this variable in the format of lister. Because the values are packed in the list, that's why when you are giving multiple values for single variable, it is going to be stored in the format of list only. If you are not willing to give last 2 values for the last variable, if you want to give middle 2 values for the second record, then instead of giving this one here, you just provide it here. Then how it is going to be assigned the values? The first value will be assigned to this record 1 and the next 2 values will be assigned to record 2 and third value will be assigned to record 3 and last value will be assigned for record 4. Now just run it, you can check it here. See there? It is going to follow the sequence. So when the variables are following a sequence to store the values, then that kind of assignment, I'll call it as what? Sequence assignment. These are all called sequence assignment. These are all called what? Sequence assignments. So this is what extended assignment and sequence assignment. And one more thing that we want to discuss under assigning values to variables here is multiple target assignment. What is the meaning of this? That's what I discussed previously. So, A is equal to 10 if I am having similar data in different variables. Instead of writing each and every time, what we can do here is just provide in a single line, just keeping a equal to symbols in each and every variable and value like this. So instead of writing in this way, you can make use of in this way. So this is called a multiple target assignment. If you try to print A, you will get a 10 only. If you try to print B, it will also give the value as 10. If you try to print C, it will also give the value as 10. This is what assigning a single value to multiple variables. Then we will call it as a multiple target assignment. And the last one that we are going to discuss here is augmented assignment. You can pronounce whatever you like. So what I can pronounce, that I am pronouncing. But suppose if I am having a value called 20 in the variable x, my aim is to add 2 to x and assign the result that I got while adding the 2 to the x, okay, to the same variable x. What I am saying here, I just want to add 2 to x. That means x plus 2 and assign this result to which one? To the x only. That means x is equal to storing this result in the same variable. Instead of writing in this way, I am just using a shorthand method called x plus equal to 2. What is this plus equal to here? Plus equal to represents add and assign operator. It is a one type of assignment operator, that is adding and assigning the value to the same variable is nothing but add and assignment operator. It's a combination of assignment operator and arithmetic operator is known as add and assign operator. So now if you try to print x variable, initially the value of x is 20. Once you are adding plus 2 to the x value will get updated to what value? 22. So this kind of things can be, this kind of things we will call it as augmented assignment. There are so many kind of operators are there. Let us discuss one more thing. If I want to subtract 5 from x variable and I want to assign a result to the same variable. What I am saying again, I want to subtract 5 from x. So I will write x minus 5. And this result I want to store it in x variable. So I will store it. Instead of writing this way, what I will do here is, I am using one more operator called subtract and assign. What is this minus equal to represent? It represents subtract and assign, which means subtracting the value and assigning to the same variable will make use of this subtract and assign. If you try to print x now, the x value will comes, okay, from 22 to some new value by subtracting the 5. So just run and check it. It's 17. Means when you are doing some kind of assignment operators on the same variable, the value of x will get updated. This kind of representation we will call it as augmented assignment. Hope you understand these concepts well. In the next video, we are going to learn a very interesting concepts. Until then, stay tuned to my channel. If you are not subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel and hit bell icon for more notifications. Like, share and comment below. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.